Ladies and gentlemen of the YouTube universe, what is going on with you on this Saturday afternoon? It is Saturday, May 4th, 2024, roughly 5:02 p.m. California time. I am, of course, your always gracious host, Fallon from GoNootropics.com, coming at you with the coffee. Cheers. We are sipping on the dark roast out of the New Wave Botanicals cup. This is like the only cup I got. Now that my other cup broke, it's either this or a glass cup. Anyways, we're cruising. We're sipping on the dark roast, which is said to be less acidic, right, than the light roasted coffee. Less acidic, easier on your stomach, less likely to cause these, gastric problems and stomach acid problems. I thought I was having this problem where the acid was rising up into my throat, which I think has all but dissipated now that I've given up the Kratom. Now that I've given up the pouches, all this acid reflux, it's just, you cut the crap and these things just tend to resolve themselves. So we're here cruising. Thank you for coming through. Today we're asking a timeless question. Is it worth it, baby? Is it worth it to live this life without drugs? Is it possible? You hear people say, well, just get sober. Just get sober and just live life sober. But it's like, is life livable without drugs? Is life in its current state? In its current state, is life even livable? It's easy to say get sober and, cut out this and cut out all these things and, you're going to feel so much better. But all that happens is you get sober and you cut out these things and you realize just how destitute like the modern life is. You just realize the destitution and you realize how dilapidated everything is. Like metaphorically, it's like there's this like low level depression that affects everybody. Everybody's kind of, you just feel it. You feel people's negativity. You feel people's like they're down and they're depressed and they're working the modern jobs, the modern 9-to-5s, and they're living in the rat box. They're living in the tender box, right? And they're single. They don't have anybody. They're lonely. They're going to the bars. They're desperately trying to find something. They're seeking solace. They can't find it in the modern world. The modern world doesn't provide the avenues anymore for them to get the things they need. So it does beg the question, is it worth it? And I would say the answer is, in its present form, no. In its present form, working the 9-to-5, living month to month, being single, being lonely, not making a lot of money, living alone in the tender box, right? You're living in the tender box. You're estranged from your family. You're just kind of this battery in the matrix. It's like you can't tell somebody like that to get sober because they're just, once they're faced with that reality, they're faced with just the starkness. And they look out, because one day you do wake up and you wake up sober and you're like, what for? What's the purpose? And you enter into kind of like this existential crisis where everything's lost meaning. It's like nothing's fun anymore, especially after you hit your 30s, man. And kind of people have gone their separate ways and you don't have the friends you used to have. Maybe you got a couple, but they're kind of doing their own thing. And you're just kind of alone working this job. You got a couple of acquaintances. Maybe you got a drinking buddy you go out on the weekend with to drink. And you're just sitting there asking yourself why. And just it's kind of like everywhere you go, this low level depression. You go into the store, the employees, you can feel it. You can feel talking to people that people are just low, man. People, they're not doing good. They're not doing good at all. You could see it in their eyes. It's almost dripping off of people that they're just not happy. So this is why I had to quit my job. This is why I put in the 30-day notice, and me and Christine are going on this trip east on the bicycle touring across the country, because it's like in its present form, it's not worth it. If you're not going to change anything, if you're just going to do the same things, if you're just going to live the same life, it's like living without these things is next to impossible, because it's not worth it. If you're going to live the same life, it's just not. It's not. If you're going to do the same things, work the same job, not do anything to improve your situation, not make any drastic changes, it's really not worth it. It's like, just look at the modern man's predicament. It's not worth it for him. He's going to the shit job. He's dealing with people. And it's like the people these days, man, it's like they're not even human. I went to give my 30-day notice for this place, for this studio, and I was under the impression that I paid, like when I first moved in here 3 years ago. Keep in mind, I've been living in this little tinderbox for 3 years, paying my rent on time every single month. Not a single late payment on this place. I've been living here for 3 years. And this was the only available place, because nobody wants to rent this little rat box. Nobody wants to live in this little place. Only the most dire of black-pilled individuals would ever consider living in this place. But I'm not somebody who needs a lot of things, a lot of space. So this place worked out for me. I've been living here 3 years. And so I thought in my head that I had paid the first month's rent and the last month's rent plus a security deposit when I moved in, because that's like pretty standard stuff. So I didn't pay this month's rent because I figured, well, I already paid last month's rent when I first moved in here. And so I go in, I fill out the 30-day notice to vacate. You got to fill out a notice to vacate, and I fill it out. And, they're telling me, oh, but you just signed a year-long lease. You just signed your lease renewal. And I'm like, yeah, I know, but I have to go. I can't stay here anymore. I'm sorry. And they're like so locked in, man. They're so locked in. They think like once you sign the contract, like something magical happens in the universe. It's like the contract cannot be broken. The contract can't be broken. There's nothing we can do. And this is another thing I've noticed with like companies, and this particular office that I've worked in, or not worked in, but this apartment complex office, is everybody has no power. They say, well, upper management says this, and we're going to have to talk to upper management. It's like, well, can I call them? Where is upper management? Anybody you talk to nowadays, it's like they have no power. It's like my hands are tied. There's nothing I can do. And so I'm talking to this guy. I'm sitting down at this desk talking to this guy. Not kind of nice guy, but weird. Like these people aren't they the weirdest people that you've ever met, babe? They're like,
sound like the serial killer.
They're not human, man. They're not human. This guy was all about, well, you signed and he's so scared. It's like, it almost feels like they beat them down there or something.
Yeah.
It's like somebody beats them. They're so scared, and his voice is shaking. He's like, but you signed the contract. I'm like, all right, calm down. I don't know what we're gonna do here, but I'm moving to New York. And he's like, well, all right, well, if we'll see if we could get somebody to rent the place, but nobody wants that place over there. and he's pointing behind me, and he's like, she's got something for you. And I look, and I jump, because there's this lady behind me. There's this lady that works at the office, and she was standing there behind me with this like white envelope. It's one of those, maybe you've got it before. I call it the 3-day hit it or quit it notice. It's the 3 days, pay your rent or get the hell out of our place. And I'm just sitting there dumbfounded. Like, I've lived in this place for 3 years. I've paid my rent on time, this and that. And you're going to serve me this legal notice instead of just picking up the phone like a human being and saying, hey, you still owe, I know you're leaving and all that, and I wish you luck, but you still owe your rent on this last month, because when you moved in, you just paid the first month's plus the deposit. I had mistakenly thought I paid the last month. But instead of just having like a normal conversation, it's just the 3-day hit it or quit it notice. And she was totally silent, like, and almost like shaking. Like, once again, it's like they beat these people over there. It's like they're not human. They don't have normal human conversations. And this is how a lot of people are. This is the type of people that modernity is churning out time after time. Modernity is churning these types of people out, where it's like, oh, but it's the contract, and you sign the contract, and I'm gonna have to talk to upper management about that. And this is depressing, man. I left the whole situation like, what is wrong with people? Like, what is wrong with these people, man? And so is it worth it to work one of these jobs? Maybe you're in a job like that where you just go through the motions, man. It was like these people down at the office, and a lot of people, they've got like PTSD. It's like they're beaten. And when you're in such a stress response like that, all you know how to do is follow the protocols. All you know how to do is like you're a program. If this happens, then this. If this happens, notice. If this happens, do this. Else if. It's like it's like just basic logic. They don't know how to operate except just basic, if this happens, do this, and there's no like deviating from the program. So when you're living in a society where it's like everybody's kind of running on the program, everybody's depressed, everybody feels this, like it's like a refrigerator hum that's rippling through society. It's like this low level, really nasty vibration, like really nasty, really dark, really like downtrodden vibration that's just rippling through society, and you feel it off everybody, man. I left that office. I'm like, that they gotta pay these guys good, because to do that job, to have to do this to people, to have to interact with people in this kind of like super cold way, it's like they gotta be paying them big bucks. I'm not working that job for anything less than $35 an hour. If I have to do that to people, if that's how I have to interact with people, I don't want the job. I'll just hop on my bike and just head across the country. I'll just do that, So is it worth it to live in this world without drugs in its present state? Probably not. It's just not. You can't do it. This is why I've made this drastic decision to quit my job and to get out of this little rat box studio. And that's the other thing. It's like, I lived here for 3 years, never missed a payment, and you're just gonna, and I know these people. It's not like I don't know them, or that the apartment complex is so big that I'm just one of many fishes in the sea. It's like they know who I am. They know I pay on time. And so for them just to hand me that 3-day pay or get the fuck out letter is like, it's depressing, man. So no, I don't think I don't think in its present state it's worth it at all. You have to change. You can't work these jobs, man. I knew if I had any chance of staying off the kratom, I couldn't do this anymore. I just couldn't. And so I'm thinking to myself, when am I the most like happiest, or when am I the most like at peace, and when do I feel the most free? And it's honestly when I'm riding my bike. That's when I feel the best. And I'm not like in this like Peter Pan phase where it's like I'm a boy who can't grow up. But something has to give with these jobs, and how little money we make and how hard it is to survive. It's not worth it anymore. It's just not. So we're taking off, and you have to do something else. If you're on that grind, I can't see how anybody's going to come off and get sober if you are an addict. There's some people who aren't addicts. They're just mainly robots, and they just go to work. They don't have a problem with it. It's just they don't know any other way. They don't have any passion. It's like that's why you take drugs. It's because society has stifled you. Society has like snuffed you out, and you used to be somebody who felt. You used to be somebody who had emotions. You used to be somebody who had passion and energy and all these things, but society snuffed you out. And so you turned to drugs because that was like the next best thing. You didn't know what else to do. The traumas you went through, all the shit we went through, and now we're living in this modern society, which is just churning out these depressed automatons, man. And even interacting with them, like leaving the office yesterday, I was just depressed, man. Interacting with these people will put you into that same level. It's like as soon as I walked into the office, it's like, have you ever walked in somewhere and you could just feel the heaviness? You can feel just this like heavy, dark energy. That's what these people are, and that's what society is just churning out time and time time and time again. Like an assembly line. You work one of these jobs, they're just churning you out, man. You're gonna be a husk of what you were, just a total freaking husk. So I don't know. I'm not saying riding my bike across the country with my wife is like the best solution. I don't know what the solution is. All I know is that personally, I don't stand a chance coming off these things if I have to be resigned to one of these soul-sucking jobs. I just can't do it. And I hate to say it, sometimes I wish I could just clock in, baby. If I could just clock in. And maybe one day I might have to, like, if we have kids, if we have children, I might have to make that sacrifice. But until that point, I'm going to do everything in my power to make money in perhaps other ways that don't suck my soul, suck my energy. And if it comes to that, fine, I'll become John Smith. I'm not opposed to clocking in if I absolutely have to. But if you don't absolutely have to, and you have a little bit of freedom in your life right now, maybe you're not shackled down with kids and you don't have that responsibility, and you have a partner, a girlfriend or a husband who's kind of on the same level, go do something else. If you're single, no kids, no partner, it's like you can go do anything you want. Why are you just staying in the same spot? If you keep complaining that you're depressed and you're not feeling right, or you're this or you're that, you have to break out. You just have to break out, and there's really nothing stopping you except your attachment to the comfort zone. You're attached to this depression. It's all you know, and you just kind of don't know what to do. So just do anything else. Do anything else. It's not bad. Living out of a tent, living out of your car, taking off, if you're a single guy with no obligations, you got some savings, this and that, there's nothing wrong with taking off on an adventure, or doing something that juices the carcass, man. Maybe you are somebody who's trying to get sober. I wish you the best of luck. I'm not of the opinion that it's going to be possible if you don't change your life, because going to these jobs, man, all you want to do is crack. I can't do it. Maybe if you can, I'm not saying don't. If you can get sober and work one of these jobs, do it, please. But I'm just of the opinion that it's going to be really difficult for most addicts to come off of something but kind of keep their life the way it is. That's just my opinion. So that is the video of the day, ladies and gentlemen. Fallon, GoNootropics.com. As always, thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing. And I will see you very soon. Peace.